Welcome, everybody. I'd like to call this Greenville County Council regular meeting to order. And before we get started, Councilor Long will do the invocation, but I'm going to take a liberty here and acknowledge Dr. Fant for a moment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Tonight, I would ask that this council and the audience pause to honor the life and legacy of Reverend Jesse Jackson, a proud native of Greenville. From humble beginnings in our community, he rose to become a global voice for civil rights, justice, and economic empowerment. Through decades of advocacy, he challenged our nation to live up to its highest ideals of equality and opportunity for all. Regardless of political perspective, his impact on American history is undeniable. At this time, I would ask that we observe a moment of silence in memory of Reverend Jackson and in honor of his enduring legacy. Amen.
Let us pray. Father, thank you for this beautiful day that you have given us, and thank you for all the people assembled here to do your work, Lord. Please be with everyone here, that they would seek your guidance in every decision that is made here in the county and every voice that is lifted here for the better good of the people of Greenville County. We ask all these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible. With liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. Next on the agenda, we have the approval of minutes.
Move approval of the minutes from February 3rd.
Thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Next on the agenda, we have on current agenda items, and I will turn it over to Ms. Wallace.
Mr. Chairman, we have 8 speakers tonight. The first one is Rob Rowan, and he is speaking on the line item 9A3 on the Pebble Creek property.
And I'm going to save Ms. Wallace Ms. Wallace is having to fill in for another person who had to leave. So all of these are actually about the same thing. So I'll just let her call the name out so she doesn't have to say it over and over.
Thank you.
Right. Welcome, Mr. Rowan.
Thank you. I am a former Pebble Creek Phase 1 HOA president. Board of that HOA.
Mr. Rowan, I'm sorry. Can we reset his time? The mic's not working too well. I think people in the back are having a hard time hearing.
Hello.
Yeah, sometimes we have to eat it. I'm sorry.
Is that better?
I believe so. We'll
Thank
start
you.
over. Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you.
I'm a former Pebble Creek Phase 1 HOA president. The board, after hearing about this proposed project, had an overwhelming response of saying no. They designated me to speak for our community as one of the voices. We say no, and that's 100% of Pebble Creek. I see Green City has brought people with hats saying, make Pebble Creek great again. We don't want great again. If it wasn't for the tennis courts left to rot, it would be great. If it wasn't for him letting the golf course starting to fall apart, it would be great. We don't need more. We need the owner of the golf course to take care of what we have. For you that are here from Green City, there are over 200 homes for sale in the area. Please find one of them, not overburden us. When I was the HOA president, I approached Lynn Young, the owner of the tennis courts, with some business leaders who wanted to revitalize those tennis courts and put in some pickleball courts and make it a going concern, like what happened with the pool. He would not talk to me. They were willing to do what it was to make it beautiful, and I think that would have been great. In fact, I spoke with Sergey, who's the head of Green City here, and he said if this whole thing failed, he'd come back and talk to me about that. So maybe he realizes that would be important. Our residents don't want the added traffic, the added parking, the added issues of stormwater. We don't want to see any more development on every inch of space that exists in Pebble Creek. And one more thing, Pebble Creek area, which area covers the area across the street from this development. This new HOA that they want to create as part of their deal would have different rules about what they could and cannot do, which would mean we'd have, again, problems with possibly parking and other areas on the problems on this narrow street. So basically what we want is for you guys to vote no for this thing and say enough is enough. We have enough. Pebble Creek is great as it is. With a little bit of help on the tennis courts and that whole thing, it'd be even better, but we don't need more homes to make it great. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Rowan. Ms. Wallace?
The next speaker is Carl Gerheiser.
Welcome, Mr. Gerheiser. If I mess up your name, correct me in public. It's great.
Well, that's all right. Happens often.
So does mine. Welcome.
My wife and I and our 3 children were residents of the Pebble Creek community for 20 years. A big reason we bought in the community were the nearby facilities of the Pebble Creek Country Club. We utilized the golf course, swimming pool, and the tennis courts. Our entire family were avid tennis players. As adults, my wife and I participated in the tournaments, social events organized by the club, and the tennis teams. This contributed to the social fabric of the community and facilitated forming friendships throughout them. Our 3 children were able to ride their bikes by themselves the 4 blocks to the swimming pool, the tennis courts, and the golf course. This allowed our children to utilize the facilities often and meet with their friends there on a frequent basis. Our children took tennis lessons there, played in tournaments, and worked part-time at the tennis pro shop. 2 of our children received college scholarships related to the tennis experiences at Pebble Creek. One scholarship was for playing tennis at Long Island University. Another learned to string rackets at the Pebble Creek Pro Shop and helped him to earn a scholarship as manager of his college tennis team at Middle Tennessee State. After the courts deteriorated to the point where my wife and I no longer wanted to play there, we traveled to Holly Tree Country Club and then to Riverside Country Club, where we had to drive. For adults, this is an inconvenience, but it would have prevented our children from learning tennis and playing on their own time. Losing the tennis courts will prevent future members and their children from benefiting in these ways. It's difficult to estimate the value of these activities, but they are important to the community. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ms. Wallace?
The next speaker is Sergey Tushko.
Welcome, Ms. I'm not even going to try to say it. I'll mess it up, so I'll let you say it again just to make sure I get it right.
My name is Sergey Tsushko. I'm one of the owners of Green City Homes. And thank you for hearing to us, and I'm going to read from this. Green City Homes is a community-focused builder. We don't just build homes, we build neighborhood designed to function well, feels like oasis, and bring people together. This approach can be seen in communities such as Emerald Ridge, Etna Springs, and Nova States. We have one subdivision that next to it. We also believe in a good neighborhood. When Hurricane Helene impacted Greenville area last year, Green City Homes assist residents in helping removing more than 20 trees from their backyards. Not because it was required, but because it was the right thing to do. At the present, the existing tennis court and related facilities with the community are run down and unusable. The homeowner association and a golf course owner do not have financial capacity to restore or maintain them. Rather than leaving them in the same state as they are, we stepped up to build and fix the area with building the 24 townhomes. Our proposal convert an usable recreational area. So as if right now it is recreational, but in reality cannot be used. We listen carefully to the members of committee and the Pebble Creek residents, and it seems like there's 2 options that are happening. One option was something that I heard was 10 to 15 large homes to fix that deal. And option B is 24 thoughtful design cottage-style single-family attached, designed to allow seniors to downsize and create opportunities for younger family. We are also mindful of future residents of this community, long-time neighborhoods who wish to downsize while remaining in neighborhood they know. As we, as a homeowners who are ready to, and the homeowners, they're ready to move from the large homes to the smaller, low-maintenance community. The original planning development also allowed cottages. While we understand the same residents prefer fewer homes naturally a result of higher prices and fewer housing options. At this time, we're not asking for approval, we're asking for direction. Which option is the best to serve the long-term interests of community? Green City Homes believe in responsible growth, strong neighborhoods, housing that works for people and families.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ms. Wallace.
Next speaker is Suzanne Gervais.
Welcome.
Now, I don't speak at things like this, so have patience with me. I'm just going to read what my husband and I have read. We have lived at Pebble Creek, we have lived at 28 Kinlan Way for nearly 45 years. Kinlan Way is located just past the tennis courts off Pebble Creek Drive. During our search for a new home, we found a neighborhood we love with lovely homes and complete with highly desirable recreational facilities, the golf, the swim, and the tennis. Pebble Creek Country Club was well run at the time by CCA with active membership. One belief was that designation as a planned development, a PD, would maintain the recorded land uses, especially the golf course, tennis, and swimming facilities. The recreational facilities are a defined component of the neighborhood. The neglect of the tennis courts is not a valid reason to eliminate them. If the courts were properly maintained and managed, the club would thrive. Sadly, we have watched as the swimming pool and tennis courts were neglected by the latest of the club owners. Elimination of 9 holes of the golf course so far, more are forecasted, plus the parking lot and rock formation / ledge located adjacent to the 9th fairway chip away the attractiveness of the original subdivision. This area along fairway was not designated as residential due to limited space to locate housing, both compliant with planning and zoning regulations, and safely separated from the probable golf balls. The neighborhood is being ripped apart. The loss of the tennis courts would further destroy the fabric of the neighborhood. The destruction of swimming club has been delayed presently by being leased by concerned patrons. Concerned people need to salvage the tennis facilities, and we'd like to try to do that. The proposal does nothing but detract from the desirability of the neighborhood. The real issue is not whether there are 24 units or even 2. It's the preservation of the courts. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ms. Wallace.
The next speaker is Mark Forthouse.
Welcome, sir.
Hi, my name is Mark Forthouse. My wife Linda and I live at 132 Pebble Creek Drive. We've been there for 6 years, and it's the property that's right across from the tennis courts. So we have the privilege of being able to see all the activity that happens on Pebble Creek Drive, which is continuous. We love our home. We're outside a lot, but it's continuous walking, bike riding by kids, people pushing strollers up and down, and it's really been encouraging for us to be able to get to know the community just because of where we live. We actually even see people using the tennis courts, going out and taking care of removing debris and playing tennis with the courts in the condition that they're in. On July, this past January 30th, I sent an email, my wife and I sent an email to the council and the committee, and so we detailed all the reasons why this is not a good idea for our community, and mainly we emphasized the safety concerns that we'd have. I won't go into any of those details because you all read it, and I appreciate the response that we got from the committee. It was very encouraging to us that you too care about the safety and the community, the potential negative impact on the community. I do have a letter from one of the other residents who wasn't able to be here, and I want to read it. I'm going to try and speed read because I'm going to stay in the time. My name is Steve Gardner, and my wife and I reside at 1 Fox Ridge Way in Pebble Creek. I apologize for not being here in person, but my wife and I both tested positive for COVID, and we do not wish to endanger anyone. In the past, you have heard from many residents, including myself, from the legal and technical standpoint as to why the rezoning request should be denied. While I support that you don't need to hear it again, what I would like to say now speaks to the character of our community and the quality of life issues. We have lived in Pebble Creek now for 2.5 years. We immediately fell in love with the community because of the beautiful trees, beautiful mature trees and landscaping, the recreational facilities, and the friendliness of the people. I will never forget revisiting our home the day after our offer was accepted and seeing several couples out walking on Kinlan Way, all of whom gave a friendly wave despite never seeing us before. That's Pebble Creek. I don't have to tell you that the area is already overbuilt with so many homes planned and a recent 347-unit apartment complex having been completed. Stallings Road, Mountain Creek, State Park roads are overburdened and feel increasingly unsafe. Were not designed for the number of vehicles that now exist. No one moved to Pebble Creek to experience traffic, construction noise, and a shrinkage of open space and amenities. To make myself clear, I am unadulterably opposed to so much as a camp tent being erected at the proposed site, let alone any more housing regardless of type. The people of Pebble Creek deserve better, and we appreciate your response and your resounding denial. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Wallace?
The next speaker is Jeff Wilson.
Welcome.
Good evening. I am here in support of my friend and client, Sergey Shushko, but also I want to empathize with Pebble Creek. I used to be a member of the Pebble Creek Golf Course 35 years ago. Loved the community, just absolutely loved it. But the empathy is, I live a mile from here now on Jones Avenue. And when I moved here, I didn't want Jones Avenue to grow. Was just totally opposed to it. But my property values have increased fourfold with the beautiful homes that are going up in downtown Greenville. And I know the type of work that Green City does. So I would just ask you to, if I hear what you're saying, your amenities and everything, if that can't take place, I would just ask you to have an open mind and embrace a quality developer like Sergey Shushko. On an unrelated note, Chairman Blunt, I'm a big fan of your music, especially Jesus Chicken. Thank you.
Thank you. The last thing I thought I would ever hear in council was the song I wrote about Chick-fil-A. So, but I'll take it. Thank you, Ms. Wallace.
Okay, the next speaker is Jana Bucky.
Hey, good evening. I'm Jana Bucky. My husband John and I live at 6 Kinlan Way, directly across from the tennis courts parking lot. Our house is the one you always see in the rezoning PowerPoint that we've seen over and over again. So yes, we are directly affected by the proposed development of 24 two-story townhomes, but we all in the neighborhood will be adversely affected. Now, we don't mind change in the neighborhood if they are ones that are in keeping with the planned development and ones that would enhance our quality of life. What we oppose are changes driven by money and ones that will negatively affect our safety, lifestyle, and the green spaces we enjoy. We are opposed to the rezoning and the building of townhomes or any homes in any form for these reasons. Pebble Creek is full. The planned development has no more room for additional homes of any type, townhomes or single-family homes. Maintaining the current status will ensure that the existing recreational facilities and green spaces will remain. The streets most affected by the townhomes, Pebble Creek Drive and Kinlan Way, are not wide enough to accommodate increased car traffic. raising major safety concerns. Remember, we have no sidewalks there. And when you add the probable increase of cars parked along Pebble Creek Drive and Kenland Way from these townhomes, there will be increased driving hazard and a loss of safety and quality of life for walkers, children, and golfers. It's shameful that the owner of the golf course and tennis courts are intentionally making it an eyesore in hopes that the community will accept any alternative as a better solution. Not on our watch. Green City is not acting in the best interest of Pebble Creek. They are opportunists. They recently added the option that they might build single-family homes instead of townhomes. They will say and do whatever it takes. They claim to council and to local media that they spoke to the affected residents before proceeding, but they have not. No one we know on Pebble Creek or Kenland Way, including us, were asked their opinion before they submitted their proposal. Council, you have an opportunity to send a message to developers in Greenville that if they want to build housing, they shouldn't buy a golf course, tennis courts, etc., with schemes to destroy historically zoned recreational areas for profit. Please do not allow the rezoning change or the development. Please shut this proposal and future proposals down now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And Ms. Wallace?
Our last speaker is Drew Torres.
Welcome, sir.
Hello, I'm Drew Torres with Herlong Sotheby's. I represent Green City. I'm very fortunate to have grown up here in upstate South Carolina. I actually grew up in Holly Tree on the golf course. After college, I never thought I'd make the upstate home, but fast forward, here I am. I actually live down the street from Pebble Creek, and I back up to the par 3 in Botany Woods. In fact, my daughter swam against Pebble Creek this past summer. So we get it. There is a point where Pebble Creek is changing. If it wasn't Green City Homes, I would not put my name or reputation in front of you all to be judged. I've worked with Green City for about 6 years, and I've seen Etna Springs go from an idea on a piece of paper to $1 million homes, something that everyone can be proud about. So what I'm appealing to is there's a changing landscape, and I truly believe that Green City Homes will make that a positive change. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much. We'll now move to the next agenda item, which is public hearings. We'll start with A, Greenville Arena District General Obligation Bonds. Council Bradley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This public hearing is being held for the purpose of receiving comments from the public regarding an ordinance finding that Greenville Area District, South Carolina may issue not exceeding $40 million of general obligation bonds in one or more series to authorize the Board of Trustees of the Greenville Arena District, South Carolina, to issue such bonds and to provide for the publication of notice of the said findings and authorizations. Is anyone here to speak on behalf on this public hearing? Ms. Wallace.
Mr. Bradley, Mr. Chairman, we have 3 in favor and 2 in opposition. The first in favor is Casey Harden.
Welcome.
Hey folks, thanks for hearing me. My name is Cassie Harden Scott. I'm the local producer for So Far Sounds here in our local chapter of Greenville. So Far Sounds is a global community of artists and audiences who are committed to creating spaces where original music matters. We put on secret pop-up concerts throughout the upstate, often in unexpected venues with unannounced artists. I've been the producer since 2023. We've not had it here until I started it, and I brought it to Greenville just to bring people together and create a new way of engaging with music in the upstate. So obviously the Bon Secours Wellness Arena is not really an unexpected venue to see music, but it might be considered unexpected for one of our local artists. So kind of playing with that idea that you may not typically expect to see your favorite local bluegrass band take the stage at the arena, we formed a partnership. So for the second year, for select shows at the Well, we will feature a local so-far artist on a stage, either on the Furman Plaza or the Pepsi Terrace stage for a pre-show. So as the crowds of around 10,000 people gather, waiting to go inside, they get to discover a local artist performing their own original music. We match these local artists very carefully, ensuring the fans will get to discover local talent they may have missed otherwise. Local fans of Chris Stapleton, for example, have now heard local music from Ryan Henry. Fans of Weezer got to discover Greenville's indie rock band Slow Funeral. And later this month, locals will get to discover the incredibly talented James Tucker, a Travelers Rest native and local business owner making waves in the country music scene. I bring all this up to point out the incredible partnership that the Well is committed to elevating the voices of local artists and doing something of major impact for music in this community. An investment in this project is an investment in the community and in local voices, and giving a stage to the artists we have here in this community. The proposed master plan is exceptional, and it's been celebrated by local artists and everyone in this local music community. It's going to create incredible opportunities for local artists, new ways for people to come together and gather, and that's incredibly important right now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ms. Wallace?
The next person in favor is Nia Zambrano.
Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Greenville County Council members, for this opportunity to speak in support of the funding for the Greenville Arena District Master Plan project. My name is Nia Zambrano, and my family and I were born and raised here in Greenville, and I'm the parent of Joe. He's sitting over there, a young adult with Down syndrome, and I want to express how wonderful and how much we appreciate our time at the arena for Skate, Roll, and Stroll. It's an ice skating event designed for individuals with unique abilities. The arena pays special attention to sensory lighting and sounds, and you'll always find staff assisting our young adults with activities like pulling them around on the sleds or helping them maneuver around the ice skating ring. It's a remarkable experience, and it's an experience sometimes our young adults don't get to encourage or experience. The arena has made a positive impact on Greenville, not by only hosting meaningful family outings, but also providing events, sensory suites, and services at no charge to our families. Additionally, they've also created jobs for people with unique abilities, providing essential training and employability opportunities. The value of both of those to our community is priceless. While our community represents a smaller percentage of Greenville County, I know countless others of all the abilities who cherish the memories they are able to make at the arena. I look forward to continued engagement with arena leadership, identifying ways the new project can make an even greater impact on our community for many years to come. In addition to creating these wonderful opportunities for families, the arena also provides sustainability for small businesses in Greenville. Having family members who own 2 small businesses, one in dining, one in custom charcuterie, I see the monetary impact that these events at the arena provide for them. Supporting the future of the arena is supporting the future of businesses economically impacted by the arena. I recognize the immense pressure each of you have to endure when making decisions to lead our great county. To me, the decision to vote yes on funding the arena renovations is a vote to continue making Greenville a more inclusive, safe, and thriving community for us all. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much. Ms. Wallace?
The next person in favor is Beth Paul.
Welcome.
Good evening. My name is Beth Paul. I reside at 218 Sweetbriar Road, Greenville 29615. I also serve as the general manager of the Bon Secours Wellness Arena. Thank you, Chairman Blunt, and all members of County Council for the opportunity to address you today. I'd like to start for the benefit, most of you know, but for the benefit of some of our audience members, just a few relevant facts specific to this public hearing. One, the Greenville Arena District is owner and operator of the Bon Secours Wellness Arena, is a political subdivision of the state of South Carolina that was established in 1940. Number two, neither the Bon Secours Wellness Arena nor the GAD are for-profit businesses. The GAD's organizing structure, a political subdivision, is very similar to Greenville County's many fire districts, whereby we must seek county council approval to issue certain forms of debt financing. In a presentation we made to the Committee of the Whole on January 20th, the GAD presented a detailed information on the proposed arena complex that includes plans for arena renovation, arena expansion, parking solutions, and an amphitheater. As a reminder, the not to exceed $40 million in general obligation bonds are not Greenville County bonds. Section 8 of the ordinance reads the bonds authorized hereunder to be issued by the district or general obligation bonds of the district are not general obligation bonds of the county and will in no way count against the constitutional debt limit of the county. And finally, additionally, the GAD has notified County Council it intends to use revenues from the operating complex, which was previously described, to pay debt service on bonds issued pursuant to this ordinance. Further, I'd like to highlight our commitments. Our commitments are that this is a future collaboration where we work together on this transformational project that will create jobs, increase economic impact, and offer a unique place for residents of Greenville County to work, enjoy culture, arts, and recreation. We're committed to transparency through this process. We're committed to being very good neighbors to surrounding residents and businesses and engaging in thoughtful conversation throughout the project. We're committed to creating opportunities for local businesses and individuals to engage during construction, and we're committed to using every effort we have to be best in class and lead in a way that you, the GAD board, our staff, and the residents of Greenville County can be proud of. So finally, on behalf of the GAD, I thank you very much for your leadership of Greenville County and your willingness to serve. I thank you for your time and insight and thoughtfulness over the past 18 months to come up with a funding structure that provides a pathway to executing a truly transformational project while not increasing taxes for residents of the Greenville Arena District. And just again, thank you again for engaging in all of your thoughtful conversation, and I respectfully ask that you vote in favor of this ordinance. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Paul. Ms. Wallace?
Okay, the first person in opposition is Diane Vreeland.
Welcome.
I've missed you all. Okay. Diane Vreeland on behalf of Greenville County Republican Women, 413 Heather Falls Lane, Simpsonville. I want to read into the record a text that I sent some of you regarding my opposition to the proposed amphitheater to be located adjacent to the Bon Secours Arena. I am asking Council to change the scope of work regarding the Bon Secours Arena and proposed amphitheater. I agree that we have a huge investment in the arena and that we need to update it and not allow it to become run down, as it serves a wonderful purpose in Greenville County. I live in the Arena District and do not mind paying the taxes for the arena. I do, however, have a problem with building an amphitheater, as it is definitely not harmonious with the surrounding community as stated in state law per the Enabling Act. There are so many residential neighborhoods that saturate the surrounding area. These people will be affected by the lights and, more significantly, by the noise. How is that fair? The homes in the historic district are expensive and the taxes are high. The noise levels there will be unbearable while concerts are being held. Imagine trying to put your children to bed. It's going to be a nightmare. I am guessing there are tens of thousands of homes of various sizes and price options in a 2-mile radius of the proposed amphitheater that will be adversely affected. Additionally, there are other amphitheaters in the area that are set in places with many acres of land. I do not understand the need to build this amphitheater, as it will be destructive to so many lives. Bottom line, I'm asking the council to separate these two projects and vote no on the amphitheater and vote yes on the arena. As a taxpayer in the Arena District, I feel as though I am subjected to taxation without representation, as the public should be able to vote on projects like this. As a side note, and after talking with Kurt and Frank and a few others, talking about it being adjacent to commercial property, I went to Grok and just pulled it up to see what AI had to say. Quote, nearby residential neighborhoods blending in with trees and homes, end quote. Quote, lots of wooded areas and houses next door, end quote. Quote, with residential streets and yards creeping up close, end quote. And quote, so the area around it will feel more connected to those homes soon, end quote. Grok identified the fact that there are many homes nestled closely around this proposed project. I'm asking you again to vote no on the amphitheater and yes on the arena. And I'd like to hand a copy of my statement to the clerk so it's part of the public record, and I thank you as always.
Thank you very much. Ms. Wallace.
The last speaker is Audrey Payson.
Welcome.
Hello, good evening, everybody. Nice to be here again. I wish I had a song about due process. I wish I could tell you a way to sing about the published notice that the public gets when their legislative body is going to enact a law. And I wish I had lyrics to celebrate the opportunity to be heard, the First Amendment. But I don't have that. The law is not musical. And it is, however, a prescription for harmonious civic life. And the law that goes towards this amphitheater ordinance you've got has not been complied with adequately. In my opinion, it fails because there is no notice to the public of any plan for an amphitheater, and there's no mention in your ordinance of amphitheater at all. A casual reader or a citizen who's not an attorney would never foresee that an amphitheater is part of the plan for which $40 million is being raised. And it's patently unfair for that to be enacted without notice and opportunity. I say that the omission of a description of the amphitheater in the ordinance and in the public notice makes it a defective notice. It's not adequate, and it's not reasonable. And state law, which this proceeds under, requires reasonable published notice. The statute's very clear. Your prior council members failed to respect procedural due process rights a number of times, and there's been several cases filed against the county because of those errors. And it's very troubling and disconcerting to see that pattern continue. It costs you nothing to give the proper notice. It's a matter of being explicit in what's put in the paper. You all want to be transparent. And what is transparent at this point is that there's no outcry against the amphitheater because the public is unaware. What has succeeded is that it's been hidden. And so transparency is made a mockery, and a lawsuit is very potentially liable to occur because of this failure of notice. I ask you to pull back from this. This can be fixed. You can publish reasonable notice the way you ought to, and you can reference the amphitheater in your ordinance if that's your intent, and people can come forward and speak. That's what due process requires. And I urge you to be respectful of due process because it's a constitutional guarantee and because transparency honors your promise to the citizens. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We will now move to, I guess he needs to close the public hearing.
Is that all the comments we have?
Mr. Bradley, Mr. Chairman, that's all the speakers.
So we will announce this public hearing closed.
Thank you. Next on the agenda, we're up to resolutions. We will start with A, resolution recognizing value of farms and rural communities. Councilor Bradley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move for adoption of a resolution recognizing the economic, cultural, and historical and environmental value of farms and rural communities in Greenville County, and request staff evaluation of a voluntary market-friendly land stewardship tool and to a review of regulatory and permitting requirements affecting agricultural operations.
Thank you. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Next, we will move to B, resolution establishing the Greenville County Agricultural Task Force. Councilor Bradley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move for adoption of the resolution establishing the Greenville County Agricultural Task Force. Mr. Chairman, I have amendments to that.
State your amendment.
I move to amend the resolution, Section 3, term to read, members shall serve 4-year terms. Initial appointment shall be staggered to establish continuity. For the initial term, 2 members shall serve a term of 2 years, and the 3 members shall serve a term of 4 years. After the initial term, all members shall serve 4-year terms. A copy of the red line version was included into our agenda package.
All right, thank you. Any discussion on this amendment? All in favor of the amendment, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it.
Chairman, I move to adoption of this resolution as amended.
Thank you. All in favor of the motion as amended, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. We'll now move to ordinances at third reading. We'll start with A, Greenville Arena District General Obligation Bonds. Councilor Bradley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move for the adoption at third reading an ordinance finding that the Greenville Arena District, South Carolina, may issue not exceeding $40 million of general obligation bonds in one or more series to authorize the Board of Trustees of the Greenville Arena District, South Carolina, to issue such bonds and to provide for the publication of the notice of said findings and authorizations.
All right, thank you very much.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Councilor Long.
I move to refer this item back to the Committee of the Whole. I request that this item be placed on the next Committee of the Whole meeting in order to discuss and consider having this issue decided by the voters by referendum in the next general election for the Arena District.
All right. Thank you. Is there any discussion on the motion?
Do we have statutory authority to put something like this on the ballot? I don't think we have.
Oh, microphone, sorry.
Do we have statutory authority to put something on the ballot like this? I didn't know that we could do that in South Carolina.
Seems that it's rather unclear at the moment from what the signals I'm getting.
Okay. I would be opposed to this, and I ask for a roll call vote.
I have one more thing to say,
Councilor Long?
too.
Sure.
This is why I feel like that we need to put it out here. First of all, I feel like that the people do not know about it based on the emails, the phone calls, the in-person visits to my house. This is what I want to read, this in Section 3 of this ordinance, and you're right, it doesn't say anything about it being an amphitheater. It says, in the event that district revenues and the debt services reserve fund monies are insufficient to meet debt service payments, the tax levy mentioned in the following sentence will be used to make the debt service payments. For the payment of the principal of and interest on such bonds as they respectively mature, and for the creation of such sinking fund as may be necessary. Therefore, the full faith, credit, and taxing power of the district shall be irrevocably pledged, and there shall be levied annually a tax on all taxable property in the district sufficient to pay such principal of and interest on said bonds as they respectively mature and to create such sinking fund. If this is a possibility on the taxpayers in this arena and in this district, they have a right to have a say, and I feel like they need to make the decision, not the 12 of us. That's how I feel.
So, one second, I have just a quick question for the attorney or Mr. Administrator on that, but if I'm not mistaken, just reading those myself, is this not is this not the standard for every GO bond? And that would be fire, which sometimes we don't have referendums. I just want to be clear that we separate what that language was from how we operate.
But that's what a GO bond is. It's backed by the full faith and credit of the issuer.
And then have we ever defaulted on those in say the last 10, 15, 20 years?
I don't know if ever, the county's never defaulted.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else?
I would respectfully remind our colleagues that we were elected to do a job, not to push it off to the people.
I respectfully answer that by saying we do represent these taxpayers, and this is part of doing that.
Absolutely. Anybody else? All right. Hearing that, there's been a roll call vote requested for the motion to send this back to committee of the whole. That's fair. Like I thought you'd do otherwise.
Mr. Chairman, you have 3 in favor, 8 in opposition.
All right, thank you. So the motion fails. So we will now go to the motion at hand, which is the adoption of the Greenville Arena District General Obligation Bonds.
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Vice Chairman.
District 26, the citizens have reached out to me and by far have been in favor of this, and I just want to put that on the record that the citizens of 26 have reached out and are for the arena bond, obligation bond.
Thank you very much, Vice Chairman.
Roll call vote, please.
A roll call has been requested.
Mr. Chairman, you have 9 in favor, 2 in opposition.
All right, thank you. So the motion passes. We will move to item B, which is the Greenville Arena District Intergovernmental Agreement Amendment Accommodations Fee Revenues. Councilor Bradley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move for adoption at third reading an ordinance approving an amendment to intergovernmental, there it is, agreement related to the county accommodation fee revenues among Greenville County, Greenville Arena District, the city of Greenville, and the escrow agent, approving amendment to an escrow amendment agreement among Greenville County, the city of Greenville, and escrow agent, and the matter related thereto.
Thank you very much. Any discussion on this motion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
The ayes have it. We will move now to C, which is
Mr. Chairman, if I may, I think if we have any dissenting votes per our rules, we need to have a roll call order.
No, we don't.
Vote. Is that not true? I thought that was there.
Has
Just
to be-
making
has to be
sure.
requested.
Okay, just making sure. I thought,
Let me verify just to make sure. Because we did change some of the rules pertaining to that, so we'll just verify quickly.
and I'm in the affirmative, but I just want to make sure that all the voices are heard and marked appropriately, so
Absolutely.
push come to shove. Let's do a roll call vote if everybody's happy with going back and doing that. Is that, anybody have an
Yes.
issue?
I'm good. We'll redo the vote and do it on a roll call.
I'm pretty sure it is, but
Yeah. Better safe than sorry.
so it is required, yes. Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, you have 9 in favor, 2 in opposition.
All right, thank you. The motion passes. We'll move to C, which is the hospitality tax revenue bonds, second supplemental ordinance. Counselor Bradley.
I move for adoption of third reading, a second supplemental ordinance providing for the insurance and too many people here, you're making me nervous. Insurance and sale by Greenville County, South Carolina of not exceeding $100 million hospitality tax revenue bonds in one or more series, and ensure of sales of hospitality tax revenue bonds, stipulated notes in one or more series, and the matters related thereto.
Thank you very much. Any discussion on this motion? Councilor McGahee.
Yeah, I'd just like to point out that this is, the hospitality tax and accommodation tax, which we're obligating here, we have to use this for tourism. We can't use it for roads, we can't use it for Green Link, we can't use it for all this stuff. It has to be for tourism and tourism-related activity. It's very clear in the statute what these monies are go to, and I think this is, those monies that are generated could currently cover the debt that needs to be serviced by this bond that will be issued. But furthermore, as we grow the arena and grow the arena district, the arena itself, we'll get additional revenue to pay these bonds. So after reviewing the financials, in my opinion, and I'm not saying I'm Joe Cornell or anybody that knows a ton about bonding, but I would say that after reviewing the financial of the arena district, that they're in a great position to pay these bonds, and the county is not at risk in any way.
Thank you, Councilor McGahee. Anybody else?
I did have a question,
Councilor
Mr. Chairman. Mr. Administrator, I just wanted to make sure with the H-tax along those same lines that we would have additional capacity to provide the citizens with other opportunities like, say, recreation or park or something like that.
Mr. Chairman, members of council, we still have some capacity in H-tax. We have a pretty significant fund balance that we're not touching with this transaction. This would be bonds, and keep in mind these bonds won't be issued tomorrow. It'll be issued over a series over the next probably 2 to 3 years. So yes, we have capacity.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Roll call.
Roll call's been requested.
Mr. Chairman, you have 9 in favor, 2 in opposition.
All right, thank you. The motion passes. We will now move to ordinances at second reading. We'll start with CZ 2025-073. Councilor Bradley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Property located at 1500 Cedar Lanes Road and Orchard Drive requesting rezoning from C2 to S1. The Planning Commission recommended approval and the committee recommended denial. On behalf of the committee, I move to deny this ordinance at second reading.
Thank you. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. CZ 2026-001. Councilor Bradley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Property located at 506 and 508 South Buncombe Road and 1710 Hood Road requesting rezoning from S1 to I1. The Planning Commission and the committee recommended approval. On behalf of the committee, I move approval of this ordinance at second reading.
Thank you. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Next is CZ 2026-002. Councilor Bradley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Property located at 105 Pebble Creek Drive and Kindland Way requesting rezoning from PD to PDMC, major change. The Planning Commission and the committee recommended denial. On behalf of the committee, I move to deny this ordinance at second reading.
Any discussion on the motion?
Mr. Chairman?
Councilor Shaw.
Thank you. This, look, Green City and the supporters, they're good people. And I really do think they're trying to do the right thing, providing affordable housing. This particular project is just the wrong thing in the wrong place. I'm particularly struck just by the language that we all have on our minutes here, which says a planned development changing with a major change to a planned development. We've got to preserve, if we're making a plan and people base their lives on that plan, to go in afterwards and change it, it needs to be something that it's not just a choice. It needs to be a necessity. And so I want to encourage everybody on council to vote against this.
All right, thank you. Anybody else? All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Next is CZ 2026-003, Council Bradley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Property located at 333 Gibson Drive, requesting rezoning from RS to R15. The Planning Commission and the committee recommend denial. On behalf of the committee, I move to deny this ordinance at second reading, but I have I need to make a motion to hold this. We have new information that we need to reconsider, so.
And I'll speak to that real quick. I had a discussion with the developer, and there's a potential avenue for them to acquire sewer through discussion with another entity. So I wanted to give them at least a little time to do that due diligence, because that was one of the deciding factors, because they had to add units because it was on septic prior, and that's what kind of shut everything down. So just to let them go through the process, I asked Vice Chairman if he would request to hold this. So having that, any other discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you. Next is CZ 2026-004, Councilor Bradley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Property located at 2706 White Horse Road, requesting rezoning from C1 to I1. The Planning Commission and the committee recommended approval. On behalf of the committee, I move approval of this ordinance at second reading.
Thank you. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. We'll now move to B, Project Pioneer Fee in lieu of Tax Agreement. Councilor Collins.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Project Pioneer Fee in lieu of Tax Agreement. Mr. Chairman, the motion I move for approval at the second reading, an ordinance authorizing the execution and delivery of a fee in lieu of tax agreement by and between Greenville County, South Carolina, and an entity or entities identified by the county as Project Pioneer with respect to certain economic development property in the county, whereby the property will be subject to certain payments in lieu of taxes, including the provision of certain special source credits, authorizing the assignment and amendment of an existing fee in lieu of tax agreement applicable to a portion of the project, whereby such portion of the project will be subject to certain payments in lieu of taxes, including the provision of certain special source credits and other matters related thereto. Mr. Chairman, the motion I move to refer this back to the Finance Committee.
Everybody understand the motion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. We will now move to ordinances at first reading, and I will call on Councilor Bradley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll present for first reading zoning docket CZ-2026-006 through CZ-2026-010.
All right, thank you, and I'll refer that to the Planning and Development Committee. And with that, we are up to committee reports, and I will say that we added this section. I want to thank the clerk for doing this for us based on a planning retreat that we recently had where we discussed ways to be more transparent with you. So if you look at the agenda, you'll see a list of all the committees that we have. And so moving forward, if there's anything in those committees that either the chairman want to share here in council, they'll have the opportunity to do that. It's just another layer of visibility so we can tell you what's going along in the process in the event that you wanted to know prior to when it arrives here at council. We didn't discuss how we were going to go through it, so for tonight, we'll just start at A and go through. If you don't have anything to share, you can say nothing to share at this time, and we'll move right along. For Committee of the Whole, I'll start by sharing that we essentially went through today and started a process, thanks to Councilor McGahee and Ms. Seaman as well, to readdress how our applications are processed, the timelines, to make sure that they work out well for you, so you know when the applications period open, how to do it, try to make everything better. So we're still working on that, but we did handle that in committee tonight, and that's all I have to report on that. So we'll move to Committee on Finance, and I have nothing to share tonight. And now I will move to C, Committee on Communications and Government Affairs. Councilor Farmer.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. We had to cancel this month's Communication and Governmental Affairs Committee because I could not get SCDOT to do a presentation time. That being said, next month's is going to be a pretty hot ticket because it will be SCDOT in addition with the GADC. So mark your calendars.
That's a lot of letters. All right. Next on the agenda, or next on is E, Roads, Infrastructure, and Public Works. Councilor McGahee.
Just the committee's moving forward with several issues. You can come to those meetings. It'd be great to have you there. Again, the commitment to roads, and we've gotten a good update from the staff on that. We are moving forward with the $36 million this year. We're going to fix several bridges, improve a lot of roads as much as we can, and we're going to eat that elephant one bite at a time. So know that we're committed to it. You'll see this in the upcoming budget cycle, similar or more funding if we can get it. And know that we're here working for you. It's not going to be a problem we can solve overnight. We might not even solve it in 4 or 5 years, but we are working on it, and I'd appreciate you. If you want to come to the committee and give us some insight or help, we'd love to have that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor McGahee. And I have to apologize to Vice Chairman. I skipped completely over his committee, so I'm going to back up to D, which is Committee on Planning and Development. Councilor Bradley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I thought he was mad at me. We had a meeting last night. We talked about our concurrency. We have passed it along to the staff to get a study on it to see what we can do and what we can't do. We also looked at our impact fees and decided to put it on hold. We still have the study or the feasibility study on that, so it's something we can look back on. But at this point, we have decided to, I guess that's will really be put on hold until we consider it again. But we denied it going to council. So that is, and we also, as a side note, the cluster ordinance is a cluster in process. So we are working on it, and it's just a slow process, much slower than I thought. And we hope to have it. I hope to have it to the staff and the planning commission and to the P&D in the next, couple of weeks, months maybe. It's moving, so we have made a lot of leeway in it. So I'm happy. The progress has been pretty good. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chairman. We'll now move to Committee on Public Safety and Human Services. Councilor Collins.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. Mr. Chairman, constituents, public safety, it's a very big committee. And I'd like to say, I'm going to start out with one at a time, is your fire district is working overtime to secure the ratings that they have. And I want to commend them for doing that. All the way down from the southern part of the county, all the way up to the northern part of the county and in North Carolina. And you know what department that is. I've spent time with them. I'm trying to get 2 fire stations a month, a 10-hour shift, so I can get out there and actually get dirty. But I'm going to clean a lot of toilets, but that's what I do good. So I think that's good to know how they work and the camaraderie that creates the service they provide. It's second to none. Clerk of courts, we got a lot of work to do at the courthouse. The clerk of court has been gracious and very patient. It's time for us to act as a public safety committee, as a county of Greenville. And that needs to step up, and someone needs to deliver. And it's this body that I task. The correctional facility, probably got one of the best administrators over there, and I'm just going to say hats off to him. They do let me say it this way, they do a very good job. And again, hats off to them and Mr. Israel. Medical examiner, I've got scheduled with the coroner. I'll be hanging out and shadowing the coroner and the medical examiner once a month. Not to do anything that's outside of my scope of tolerance, if you know what I mean, but just to facilitate so I can sell them to the public, so the public doesn't really have a clue other than CSI, okay? So, and the medical legal, which we recognized them last month, for those who don't know, you're taking the medical field into the criminal or legal field, law enforcement, and you combine those, and that's your coroner. So in a nutshell, and again, the coroner is doing an outstanding job. I want to recognize that. EMS. Again, I'm scheduled to run with some EMS troops for about 10-hour shifts. It's a lot. It's daunting, but I need to know the scope of what I'm working with so I can convey that to you as constituents. So when I come and say they need an extra mill in taxes to do this, is to provide service for you. So when you go to bed at night, you know at the other side of that phone, when you say 911, somebody's going to say, 911, can I help you? And that leads me into law enforcement, folks. Law enforcement, it's the blood of what keeps us safe in this county. We've got to do something. We've got to do something now, but we also have to do it in a concise, measured way. Retainability of law enforcement is should be our number one focus, and we're going to try to redirect that. So that said, Mr. Chairman, sorry to bloviate, but public safety has a few more categories. I'm going to default there. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And then we have Chairman Long, the Oversight Ad Hoc Committee.
Yes, thanks, Mr. Chairman. I've been working with our staff since December on behalf of the committee to get out an RFP to do performance audits on both the sheriff's office and the EMS to search for efficiencies to save money. That RFP, I have a draft of it. I'm going through that at this time, looking to make sure we have everything in there we need, not just what we want to do, but legally. And then we're going to put that RFP out once we have our next meeting and that is approved. So I will have that at the next meeting and we will go from there. So look to have something out in RFP form within the next month. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Councilor Long. And before we go on, I do want to acknowledge that since this was put out, we did have a meeting of our other ad hoc committee, which is the short-term rental, basically study committee. So I will turn that over to the chairman, Ms. Liz Seaman.
Thank you much, Mr. Chairman. Want to thank my fellow committee members, Mr. Tripp, Mr. Farmer, Mr. McGahey. We had a good first conversation the other day about short-term rentals in the county. We're going to meet again in 3 weeks and hope to have something to the full body in fairly short order. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So hopefully that provides a little extra information during the council meeting so you know kind of what we're doing in the process before it gets here. Having said that, we'll move on to the next agenda item, which is public comments. I'll call on Ms. Wallace.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, we have 5 speakers signed up. The first is Audrey Payson.
All right. Welcome again.
Well, thank you for welcoming me once again. I had the pleasure of attending your retreat and watching you do good work, and I really appreciated that you had the retreat and you did wonderful work, and I particularly loved the good and worthy priorities that you set. We need the roads, we need concurrencies for infrastructure, communication, and AI for traffic controls. I can't wait. I have another suggestion. Not that you need more to do, but I think this is worthy of a policy and a procedure too. And that's concerning litigation and a means to settle things early and often before it gets really expensive. You know, you want to be transparent, but the litigation that's filed against this county, there's no transparency about it at all. And the cost that the taxpayers bear in attorney's fees, their own fees, and the fees of the opposing side if they win, that's buried. You really got to dig hard to find what that cost. Big dollars are involved. And so there's a better way to handle things, potentially, to avoid that before it gets excessive. You know, my assumption is that a case is served, Mr. Antley finds out, it gets outsourced to an outside litigator, and that litigator wants to litigate zealously and win at all costs. It's a very macho experience, defending the county. But the truth is, you all may not like what's being defended so zealously and what's very expensive to defend. It may be a policy or an ordinance of behavior that the old council put in place, or it could be something that is outgrown and no longer serves your constituents. You may not like it at all, and you don't find out about it till the end of the case. Maybe when it's mediated or it's presented for a formal settlement. There's another way to do this. You can use executive session per state law to allow the opposing attorney to come in and talk with you about the case before you even outsource it to somebody and start incurring expenses. This would be a very prudent way to find out what it is you're supposed to learn from the filing of that case. You know, there were 3 or 4 development cases filed against Planning Commission just in December and January. Wouldn't it make sense to find out what those developers' attorneys have to say? Maybe you'd learn something, you'd find out what your Planning Commission needs to have to avoid recurrence of those same kind of suits, because they happen over and over again. You can save a lot of money by having an early settlement conference, and I see no impediment to it at all. You know, your constituents have lawsuits. Sometimes they get forced into it. They don't just lavishly tell their attorney, whatever you want to do, and check their brain at the door. They watch their pennies, and you should watch taxpayers' pennies before spending them in litigation, particularly because you give up no advantage to bring in the other side, and Mr. Antley would be there. It would be a discussion, not a deal. A discussion can happen, and you can learn. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ms. Wallace?
Mr. Chairman, the next speaker is Ed Paxton.
Welcome, Mr. Paxton.
I'm Ed Paxton. I've been coming to council meetings since it was formed, paying property taxes longer than that. Tonight I recommend, 1, the disbanding of the Greenville Area Development Corporation. It's not needed. The place is jammed today with development. 2, that council refrain from feeding its ego and being led around by developers. 3, that council refrain from being its administrator's toad. 4, put the question before the people about whether they want to continue to be governed by a council system. It was voted in. Let's see if the people want to continue it. 5, council recognize that they are servants of the citizenry of Greenville County, and growth of government and development is not a priority with the citizenry. 6, council see that citizens' input at meetings are put in the minutes verbatim and in their entirety. It's not good enough just to put a title in the minutes. 7, council adopt a policy of restraining the county's growth and abide by this policy. If you want to live in a metropolitan area, go on to Charlotte or go to Atlanta. We had a good county here not very long ago. I thank you for your time. I hope you will not ignore my recommendations. Put bluntly, I'm very tired of the traffic on White Horse Road. It backs up in the evenings to the Saluda River on 123. And I'm very tired of the over 60-mile-an-hour speed limits on I-85. And we all know the kind of jams we're getting into between Greenville and Spartanburg as we speak And if you don't do something about this development thing, it's going to inundate us all.
Thank you, Mr. Paxton. All right.
The next speaker is Daniel Gamble.
Welcome, Mr. Gamble. I have to stop before you even talk and say I'm so glad that you're speaking tonight, because as many times as I've known you and met you, I've never had you actually address council, so thank you.
Appreciate it, Chair. Anyway, I'm Daniel Gamble. I live in District 25. My address is 110 Springbrook Drive, 29605, and I live in Francis District. And my topic here tonight is speed in the neighborhood areas, the street I live on. I have a neighbor, has this black Dodge Charger, has that loud motor going up the road, going towards the highway, going like the engine, like the motor in a race, going over 40 miles an hour, like a loud engine. And this happened at nighttime, passing midnight when everybody being asleep. And I called 911 and get all the vehicle information and everything else, and get in touch with that person. And this loud motors is racing in neighborhoods like a loud engine, and that needs to stop. And people want to have rest and everything else, and I've been hearing it, like when I be sleeping, I barely hearing it, and that needs to stop. And the noise ordinance of that as well, and that's all I have to say. Thanks for your time.
Thank you so much. All right.
Mr. Chairman, the next speaker is Lane Lewis.
Welcome.
My name is Lane Lewis, and I live on 403 East Camperdown Way in the city of Greenville. I'm a member of Gold Justice, which is an interfaith coalition of 30-plus faith communities comprising thousands of individuals in the county. We're seeking to solve critical community problems by getting at the root causes of things like affordable housing, transportation, and mental health. Tonight, I'd like to speak to you about eviction filings. Today, we have 1,200-plus eviction filings per month in Greenville County, amongst the highest in the state. Overall, in South Carolina, we have a 23% filing rate, which is almost 3 times the national average of 8%. When an eviction file is filed here, it stays on the public index indefinitely, regardless of whether there was a writ of ejectment or order of eviction. In addition to unjustly burdening tenants, this can make it difficult for landlords to truly understand a tenant's rental history. Eviction filings in the state of South Carolina, and more specifically in the county of Greenville, have a burdensome cost on the judicial dockets. They can lead to family homelessness and place a financial burden on landlords too. While I have not personally faced eviction, I believe no one should be permanently punished for a moment of hardship, especially if a case was resolved, dismissed, or never resulted in removal. People deserve the chance to rebuild and move forward, and that starts with stable housing. Gold Justice is actively advocating for centralized housing court in Greenville County, and I'm here today to ask for your help in making this a reality. We have heard objections from the magistrates that this will disrupt the court docket, put additional burden on administration staff, it's biased towards the tenants, and the mom-and-pop landlords may not be able to afford an attorney. But all of these objections have proved false in a Charleston pilot that was started in 2019, it was expanded in 2021, and further authorized by the South Carolina Supreme Court in 2023 for expansion across the entire state. In North Charleston, eviction filings have dropped 31%, a clear cost benefit to the courts. The courts have promoted mediated solutions from specialized central service providers, facilitating solutions for both tenant and landlord, such as payment plans or agreed-upon move-out dates that avoid immediate homelessness for families and children and get landlords their money or their units timely. Anecdotally, the North Charleston landlords have said they like the consistency, the communication, and they are getting their money or their units faster with the implementation of a housing court. Our ask today is to please influence the magistrates, starting with the Chief Magistrate Anders, to implement a centralized housing court pilot in the county as soon as possible. Consider resurrecting a resolution that was drafted back in 2024 but not enacted. This could also include a housing court, one sentence. This could also include a housing court process drafted by Greenville County's very own Human Relations Commission, highlighting the benefits in the streamlined process of a housing court. Thank you for your time and your service and your consideration. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Ms. Wallace?
Okay, Mr. Chairman, the last speaker tonight, Jack Logan.
Welcome, Mr. Logan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My attention is about public safety. First, I want to commend Councilman Collins for his kind words and concern about law enforcement. But I come to bring something to your attention and to the entire body. I emailed y'all regarding a former inmate, Chris was his last name. At the present time, attorney and state senator Carl Allen have that case. That video will show that the officer at that detention center, with the intent and did carry out the intent, broke the inmate's hand. Then I turn my attention to, on this Valentine night, I happened to stop by the detention center to take some money in for a grandmother, to put it in that machine. When I walked in, I thought I was in Brooklyn or Harlem because there was so much chaos in the lobby there. And what caused the chaos was there was inmates, most of them was women, scheduled to be released on the home house arrest. And on the weekend, if I'm correct, no inmate received the ankle monitor on the weekend. Those women, according to their family members, I even called Councilman Fant, I tried to call Councilman Farmer, he didn't answer. They was upset because one family had traveled from Horry County to Greenville. The other family had traveled from Anderson. The women at the jail was, at the desk that was telling them on their screen, it was saying, you know, the charges had been released, and they had been released. But the problem is, those women had been in that holding cell for 12 plus hours. And so their family members, if you don't know, when you look on this inmate name and it say release, that means those inmates are on their way out of the jail. I don't believe the director of that detention center and his supervisors are monitoring their staff. It's one thing to go talk to them. I don't even know who this one is, but through the years of involvement, the council has got to be involved and have that relationship with them and just pop up sometime at that jail. And you'd be surprised what goes on in that lobby, outside in that parking lot, even by staff. You'd be surprised. And I commend my good friend over there, Chairman Collins, but take a good look at that jail on your own and just pop up sometime down at that jail. And you may see something different than what maybe the director of the jail is telling you. And I ask you to look into the releasing of inmates, you know, when they're released, and also about the inmate who was hurt at that jail. And his last name is Crisp. I don't recall his first name, but I do work with his mother, Teresa Crisp, and I thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Logan. All right, next on the agenda, we are at the administrator's report.
Mr. Chairman, members of council, I do have a couple things this evening. I want to start with, I'm very pleased to report that this afternoon we received a fully executed raise grant agreement from USDOT in the amount of $20,335,000. Across the country, over 700 communities applied, 148 grants were approved, and of them, Greenville County was the only one approved in South Carolina. Of those 148, less than 40 of them have been executed to date. This project will make it possible to connect more communities to the Prisma Health Swamp Rabbit Trail network. The project will include bridges over major roads in the Sans Souci community and neighborhoods to the east and west. If you remember, we were approved for this grant in July of 2024 and have been working hard since then to get a fully executed agreement. This grant does not require any local match. I would like to take this opportunity to recognize Ty Hauk in our Parks and Recreation Department for his continued efforts to get us to this exciting moment. It is quite an accomplishment because, as I pointed out, a lot of people or entities got approved. However, with change in Washington, a lot of those have been pulled back. Ours got approved completely. And then I wanted to update County Council on the fire district study that we're in the process of undertaking. We've had some issues with weather, believe it or not, both snow and ice, both here and remotely where the consultant is coming from. So we've had to reschedule about 3 or 4 or 5 times so far. And so we're behind, and which has caused problems with the various fire districts trying to get information together when we haven't actually had the kickoff meeting yet. That is now scheduled for next week. Pretty much all next week they'll be here. So we are going to go ahead and extend the deadline to help the fire districts get the information that has been requested. And hopefully that'll put them at ease, and then we can get a good study going. And then I also want to point out that as of today, we have a new GIS system in place. Our staff has been working on that for a number of years now. We actually had a system that was 13 years old, and it was getting to the point where some of the different people using different software was not able to get all the information that we wanted to, so we've updated it. If you go to it and you still get the old GIS system, just clean your browser cache out and you'll get the new one. But it's very, very good. We've been looking at it now for about 3 weeks, and it's very powerful. It's a little different, so it takes a little time. But once you get used to it, I think you'll be very happy. And that's all I got. Thanks.
Thank you very much. I'll move to the next agenda item, which is requests and motions by council members. Anybody have anything tonight?
Mr. Chairman, I would like to just say a
Councilor
quick thing.
Collins.
I want to recognize the P&D for not pursuing the impact fees any longer the other day. That was a good move, I believe. The school district is doing the same study, and I think anything that they come up and discover we can share. I think that would save us a lot of money. And the other thing is the concurrency clause. If you give me a minute just to read this. South Carolina is growing fast. Some might say way too fast. Well, we're the #1 influx state in the last 2 years, but our infrastructure is ranked 40th. Okay, that should be a pausing moment right there. All right, those people who drive to work on South Carolina highways, take showers via its water mains, and educate their children in the schools. Moving to South Carolina doesn't take much time to do. Upscaling the infrastructure to accommodate those new people takes notably longer, creating situations where communities are growing faster than they can handle. Look around, look out your door. Okay? So the State House has noticed that something needs to be done. So South Carolina can actually provide adequate levels of service for all of its new residents, including the governments actually have the necessary infrastructure needed before applying and approving for any new development. And before anybody screeches their teeth, let me explain that. One of those policies that are set through the House and the Senate right now, but also enacted into multiple counties throughout this state, is a concurrency program. And I think this is not a fix-all, but this is something that will protect the infrastructure the way we are now to go forward, but yet managing a balance of future development. The concurrency programs in the local code, and what does that mean? That means that local governments can ensure that new projects have the public facilities, services necessary to support those developments of anything new. So what does that mean? So if I have a school district, say wherever, and it's at 98% capacity as a middle school, elementary, okay? there are reasons, and you can add that too, the school can say, hey, we're at 98 capacity, 98% of pupils. Guess what? You don't get a 300 residential development there. Guess what? You don't get 100 there because potentially that's new students that are overpassed. Someone has to build that facility, that infrastructure. Schools are infrastructure. So in the past, we've looked at impact fees. Well, the cost to a new user for an impact fee goes straight to the end user. Okay? The average price, median price of a house here in Greenville County is $340-something thousand. Median income is on the decline between 64 and 67. Do the math. You don't have to have a calculator to figure that out. You're upside down before you even step forward. Okay? So what the impact fees will do, could have done, potentially, added the end cost from a developer or a builder that says, hey, impact fee, no problem. I'll add that to a house. I know we're not doing it, but yeah. So what does they do? They pass that through as a pass-through cost to the end user. So with the concurrency clause, that gives it a, there's no new taxes to the citizens. It's not a new concept because we've already had multiple counties adopt that plan. And I think it's going forward. Notably is Lexington County, who I've been in communications with, working on it to get an idea. And is it a perfect plan? No. Is it a complicated equation? Absolutely. But someone has to pay to mitigate the impacts of what we're doing to our community. Folks, the moment of elasticity is not elastic anymore once it snaps. If you look at your rural areas, once it's gone, it's forever. And I exclamate that. And Mr. Chairman, I appreciate the time that you allowed me to do this, but, okay, yes, sir. My clock's still at 3. Growth ought to pay for itself. And many studies throughout the nation shows statistically that residential growth does not pay for itself. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Anybody else?
Mr. Chairman.
Councilor Shaw.
Thank you. Actually, I had just a clarification from Chairman Bradley. I did watch that. Thank you for the P&D meeting last night. I wasn't clear. Did you say the impact fee vote was a hold or it was actually? It was denied. Okay, thank you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, good information, by the way. Okay, that's all I had. I thought I had heard hold, so again, my hearing's terrible. Okay.
All right. I think we're getting close to the end, so I did want to take a second, though, to go back to what Mr. Administrator said about Tyhawk. This project, it was the RAISE grant originally, and they've turned it into what's called the BUILD grant now, if you want to go look it up and research it. But typically, these multi-million-dollar grants go to projects that might be like a big bridge or highway expansion, but this is literally like a trail connector that's going to serve a lot of underserved areas in Greenville County, and it's a testament to the work of Greenville County. And Ty has put in probably more hours than I even understand, and he has some sources and methods that I don't know how he did it, but he was able to do it, and I commend him for a job well done. So I wanted to acknowledge him and everybody else for that. And if there's no any other discussion? All right. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned. Have a good evening, everybody.